Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That was really good. Yeah, that was really good.
Now to come back as women as agents of change, advancing the role of women in politics and civil society in a leadership position can bring about so many subtle changes which a man sometimes fails to see. And there are areas which are earmarked only for men, like the area that Indrajit comes from. Army. Certain places they feel women are unfit. Indrajit, before I ask the ladies to speak, would you like to say a couple of lines on what you feel women's role in such areas can be? Do you see a change happening, and what is your personal opinion as a man? Over to you.
Which means a woman and man, none of them is complete unless there is a component of both. I mean, it's a very, I was not prepared to speak at all. I had come on an invitation and then I said, okay. In fact, as Subha said, I may have to address another WEF. So I had only come to see, have a little flavor of what this is all about. I mean, going somewhere and speaking with a very few people around or interested in the subject of my speciality, I wanted to have a feel, but as I attended one or two sessions downstairs, I find that the women of this forum, I won't call it a club, I think it's a thinking forum, it's not just like kitty party or something like that. So I found women who were speaking on various subjects. In my own industry, which is aviation really, though I'm chairman of Aviation Security Committee, we look into the aviation security worldwide through United Nations. But my subjects range from psychology to numerology and, out of sheer interest. So I have cultivated certain thoughts which I think I would like to share with men and women in the world. So we just can't generalize that all men are not encouraging or all women are very sophisticated or very thoughtful. So I believe in the strong philosophy of to everyone his or her own. I generally feel that generalization is not correct. I was born in a ship. My mom was carrying me from London to Africa. I was born in high seas. So somebody, I do write a whole lot of articles in international magazines, but somebody who interviewed me, she's no more in this world, Rita Dar, she's the granddaughter of Pandit Nehruji, and we share a boundary between us in Missouri. My parents have properties and they have properties, so we have a small boundary. I'm just giving you a little philosophy of how things change in the world and how you mold your thought process. Because women equality, I can speak for 3 hours, but if my mind doesn't accept that fact, it doesn't make any sense. So this lady, while we were having gin in India International Center, Rita, God bless her soul, was very fond of gin, and so was I. She was actually like a mother to me, because I respected her a lot. She used to profusely write, and she has done books. There are 3 sisters, if you know of them. Nayanthara Sehgal is one of them, who writes lots of books, and so was Rita Dar. So she just said, India, I have known you for a long time. Indy is my nickname, so she used to call me by my first. She said, Indy, I have known you for such a long time and been having gin so often. Where do you belong? So I don't know, maybe it was gin or me. I just said, I belong to this world. So she took a good note of it, I guess, because it came to me after 2 years. So then she found out this connection through my sisters, because as I said, that we were sharing a small little boundary between the 2 houses. She came to know that I was born in a ship. So after I left for United Nations on an assignment, a long-term assignment, and I perhaps was the youngest at that time to be selected by UN on that particular grade. They have grading. So it was a senior level position at that age. So So she took a good note of it. When I came back after 2 years, I didn't even know that she used to write for a magazine called Flair, F-L-A-I-R, in Bombay. I mean, you know. My friend, when I arrived back after 2 years, he says, here is some gift for you. So I said, what is it? So she had done a little profile. There was a column called Profile in a magazine called Flair. And she wrote my name, Indrajit, and the world is his oyster. Now my English was very poor, though I had gone for studies abroad and all that stuff. So I said, what is this oyster? Honestly. So I had to refer to a dictionary to find out what oyster means. And you all know what oyster is. I was so touched, and I told this lady, my friend, I said, can I have a word with Rita? Because 3 years, maybe, you know, the number is changed or whatever. He said that she's no more. I didn't even know that she was suffering from cancer at that time when we used to sit and drink. That touched my heart, and whatever I was having food or whatever, I just left it there and I said, I can't. Because she is the one who touched my chord by taking a note of an ordinary conversation like we are having, and then she recalls that and puts it in such a beautiful way that when I asked him, where do you belong, he says, I belong to the world. Because honestly, between London and Africa, where my dad was going as an Attorney General, I mean, he's always served in the British government, and I was born in. So if you were to ask me, okay, where do you belong? I can't say I am an African. I can't say I am a British, though I am holding an Indian passport. But I don't know where I belong. So then I felt there is no need to belong anywhere. So if Suba, my friend, has asked me to come and join today, I said, sure, why not? I had something, but I said, all that can wait. I'll go for half an hour, 1 hour, have a flavor of what this WEF is all about, so that when I go somewhere else to speak, which I'm sure if you are chairpersons or whatever of this company, WEF, of this forum, I would love to share my thought process with many more clubs. I mean, why not? That's what I learned from Suba, because she speaks very well and she goes around the world speaking. So this lady, Rita, in the passing mentioned, she thought my thoughts are good. After a couple of drinks, all thoughts become good.
No, it's so sweet of you.
Please ask as many questions.
No,
I'm digressing from the main subject, but
no, it's absolutely in the main subject.
Yeah.
See, if I ask you, in
Please.
any industry, you've met men across different industries.
yes,
Right?
Yes.
You yourself have been a veteran in your own industry.
yes.
Now the point is,
Veteran is people who are retired.
no, veteran means you've been there for quite
No,
some
because
time.
So the best way that I realize what works for me and my body, I think every body is very different. The amount of salt that I eat, the amount of sugar that I eat, I see what is the effect on my body. There are many foods that, this is from an unscientific angle, you know, versus the cooking angle, but there are many foods after you eat it, you feel sleepy. There are many foods after which you eat, you know, there's bloating in your stomach, you don't feel good, you feel a little uneasy. You should know at that time, okay, these are the foods, just hear the signals coming from your body. If everybody says eat broccoli, you know, this is like the best thing, it's green, it's healthy. When I eat broccoli, I feel very uneasy. You know, so there might be some foods that don't make you feel good, that make you feel bloated. After a while, you feel fatigued, you feel sleepy. So these are not exactly good foods probably for your own body. So you should listen to your body, listen to the signs that are coming out of your body. And of course, you know, as Gunjan was also mentioning, cooking. Go and buy your own vegetables as much as you can. I know we have many people who go and probably purchase things for us. That if we can go and buy the vegetables, say, okay, today, I mean, this week I want to eat these vegetables. And Gunjan, please correct me if I'm wrong, but
I need to
Okay.
add a little line.
the more colors there are in your vegetables, the more colors there are in your food, I think there's more micronutrients that are going inside your body. So that's one of the metrics that I use whenever I'm going to shop for my vegetables. What are the kinds of colors that I can incorporate into my own system? So you wanted to add something?
Yeah. See, what I want to tell you is, you are your own doctor. So you please listen to your own body. As she said, broccoli doesn't suit her. See, nowadays there was a fad for having olive oil. Very honestly, olive oil is not our culture. There are very many reasons. A, there is our agriculture has no olives. We have sarson ka tel, we have til ka tel, we have coconut oil, and above all, we have desi ghee. Now, if you go back to history, you found desi ghee was the most common fat used for cooking. But for some time, the Americans researched and they said, no, it is high on cholesterol, so it was a total ban. That was not the case. They had to introduce dalda. So when dalda traveled to India, which is the vegetable fat, we started all using dalda, and we found that over a period, although it has taken about 50 years, but people have realized as going back, it is desi ghee which is the best. Now even the Americans, even the Europeans are wanting to consume desi ghee. Now if this is a thumb rule, it may not apply to you because your body is vata, pitta and kapha.
Yes.
Now desi ghee will create a little bit of kapha,
Yes.
but it will cool down your pitta. You have to know your body, whether this suits or it doesn't suit. Now another point is, please don't follow anything blindly. What in case the Americans have said, you follow it. In case any dietitian has said, you follow. Pardon me for saying so. But you must have your own thoughts to it. Try. You can experiment. For example, as she mentioned broccoli, I found a lot of cases for peanuts. People have peanuts and they have a gastric. They have a bloated. You have boiled? Huh? Yeah. See now, because peanuts have a very high on protein, you are not able to digest protein. This could be one of them. I don't know you. I've yet to study you. I've yet to find out what are your problems.
But it's every body is different. Like she said,
Everybody is
people told me
different.
that after exercising you have kakdi. But then I saw whenever I used to have cucumber, my body used to pain. Then that yoga auntie, she told me that maybe because of the fat.
So that happened to me actually with milk. I tried to go off milk for a while, so I went off milk for a month. Yeah. So after I reintroduced it, I realized my body was just rejecting it. I used to love a good cup of cappuccino. I love cappuccino. But after I had it after a month, I felt bloated, I felt sluggish. I said, what's going on? And after I left dairy, I realized it made a big difference to my weight as well. So this is just my personal thing. Same happened with grains. So I used to eat a lot of bread, multigrain bread. I left chapati and I thought multigrain bread is the new fad. So I started eating a lot of multigrain bread at home. When I stopped that for a while and I reintroduced bread, another thing, I love bread. Freshly baked bread, anywhere, the smell of it is wonderful, I love it. But I think Gunjan will be able to shed more light on this, the combination of how they produce bread in factories these days, how it's made itself, has a lot to do with the digestion in your body. So once I left both of them, I realized that everything has changed, including my body composition. I'm more into fitness. So very suddenly I could run more, I could lift more weight, I could do a lot of things that I could not do before. To the point I went to the doctor and I got a blood test. And I thought I am intolerant. There's a lactose intolerant, which is there's a celiac disease, and there's a gluten intolerance. And I thought I have both of them. Because the kind of changes that I saw, I said this is just not possible. When I got tested, I found out that the test results were negative. So another thing that is now coming out is that you might be sensitive to a lot of things. The threshold of intolerance medically is very high. You might not be intolerant, but you might be sensitive, and a couple of ingredients might be affecting your body that you would not have realized. So what I would say is watch out for the signs every time you eat something. Just be a little more mindful of it, so that once you start eating it and you realize something is wrong, might be that ingredient is not good for you.
Yeah. Okay. I have to finish this, so let me just run through it. Now, one more thing, as she said, leave it for 30 days. Maybe that's her experience. I would say just try it for a few days. Your body will tell you automatically whether it is acceptable. Yeah. You may not leave it for 30 days. Okay. Coming back to it, then another very important factor for a good health is eating seasonal vegetables and eating seasonal fruits. A very small thumb rule can be, when you go to the market, buy the cheapest vegetable. Why do you buy the cheapest vegetable here? I don't mean you buy which is not stale or which is rotten. Buy, for example, during the summers when you go, you'll find ghee 10-12 rupees kilo. But the same ghee turns to be 40 rupees kilo when it is winters. So by that I mean, want to explain, when you go to the market, you have some sensibilities to know what is the seasonal vegetables. You will see, you will compare, it's the cheapest. And that because it is in abundance. Why it is in abundance? Because that's the season. So likewise, I give a small example. When you eat a mango in a winter, you are not going to enjoy it. There is a reason why mango is made in a summer, because it takes away all the body heat. Although mango in itself is very heated, like you say, garam तासीर है, but जब वो आप खाते हैं तो आपकी body को ठंडक देती है. Now if you eat the same mango in a summer, or sorry, in a winter, your body needs heated thing. उसकी तासीर भले ही गर्म हो, मगर खाने में वो ठंडा है. I give you one more example of ice. If you go back and you see any dadi maa ki nuske, they say if you have a cold, take a piece of ice and rub it on your toe. अब you say अब गर्म आपको जुखाम है and you're rubbing ice, क्योंकि बर्फ की तासीर गर्म है. The temperature is cold but तासीर गर्म है, and in Ayurveda or Indian gastronomic principles, we have this philosophy of तासीर which the Westerners do not understand. They have their own trends. But anyway, being an Indian, we like to talk about Indian food and we like to emphasize and have a great pride in our own cuisine. As a
watermelon also, which is available all.
I was coming to that. I was coming to that. Like nowadays, you find watermelon, you find bananas, you find ghee round the season. Now, does that mean are you going to eat round the season? No. I give you something that you can try yourself. You have a cupboard, you have all kinds of clothes. But there are certain clothes for winters, there are certain clothes for summers. You're not going to wear a pullover and just because it's lying in your cupboard. You have to have apply some of your sensibilities and understand. My request to all of you is, please understand food. Although everybody these days talk, oh, I'm a foodie. But what is a food and what is a foodie? Please understand the philosophy of food. It is not a very simple philosophy, or sorry to say. You have to understand deeply with yourself. Only can that food be like a good medicine when you know the food and you know your body. You have to understand the relation between the two. Another thing I would like to give here is that the problem here these days is obesity, especially child obesity, for which I feel we are responsible. The child is not responsible. As she just was narrating to me in the coffee shop that she saw somebody eating a full chocolate pastry, the mother and child, early morning at 7:30. Now, if we eat the wrong food, our children are surely going to learn that. So likewise, I say, if we cook, the children are going to learn to cook. They will be more conscious. And once you make them conscious, you've achieved what you want to. There's no need for the doctors. There's no need for your self-analysis. You just need to understand the basic principles of food and cooking. There will be, your food is your kitchen is your medicine box. And all the vegetables, all the fruits is what you require and what you need to understand. So you understand, and see what you're doing is you're eating the food for your body, mind and soul. So if they are aligned, where is the need of a doctor? You already are on a healthy way of life. And each one to its own. Like there was a fad of the zero size. Why do you have to be a zero size? You have a body which you're very comfortable with, but I certainly don't mean have extra kilos. If you are uncomfortable, you develop a problem, a medical problem, then you need to look at it very seriously. Otherwise, if you're having a smooth, healthy life, please continue with whatever weight you have. You don't have to be so conscious that you have to shed out 10 kilos immediately. Maybe eat a crash diet or maybe keto diet or any kinds of diet. Because what they're going to do is just to cut out the main nutrients from your body. And your body needs nutrients. It's a piece of an engineer. God has made it for you. You can't say you're just going to have high protein or you're just going to have high on carbohydrates. It's not so. You need a balanced diet. So for that, you need to study, you need to understand the link between your body, food food and mind. I'll give it to her because she's going to talk a little bit more on the healthier side of it.
I have one question.
Yes.
So you were saying that you need to find out what conference like this or going out and you eat so much that you don't know what
Yes,
goes
I
where.
agree.
So how do you find out what went wrong?
Okay. For 2 days in a week, you would be at home.
Yes.
Huh? So you know what you're eating. Huh? You know your diet plan. And your body will also tell you that you need a glass of water now, or you need caffeine. When you're tired, you tend to take a caffeine. For those 2 days, whatever you're eating and you're feeling healthy, so make a pact on that basis. Okay, you need a caffeine at 4 o'clock, you need some salad, but try and make a conscious effort for adding certain foods in your diet. Like you should have salad, you should have high fiber, you should have some carbohydrates, you should have some milk, because it's very important. Unless something you're really lactose intolerant, which I don't believe in.
So I'll just add something here. So I travel a lot.
Let me just
couple of
complete,
times.
then you
Okay,
come.
sure.
Huh? So like this, you can make all the possible food that you eat and you've been eating as a childhood. Remember, your foundation was made during your childhood. Whatever you're eating, you've developed a palate for it. And whenever you travel, you tend to look out for the food that you've been eating over a period of time. Okay, pizza is now a fad, but it was never a food for us when you were maybe 20 years back. So try and make a diet plan and please carry some food with you. Like I do. If nothing else, I carry a whole kheera and I'll carry a knife. If I'm not getting anything to eat, I don't want to eat junk throughout the day. Because here you will not be getting a diet plan. You will not be getting a food, maybe a ghee tori tenda. But I certainly don't need you to be deprived of anything. You see, the moment the mind is not getting the satisfaction, your body will be totally out of gear. You need to satisfy yourself mentally and have the pleasure of eating good food that gives you a kick. Or, that satisfaction is very important.
See, one more thing, I'm sorry, one more thing which I want to tell is, it will be like there are days when I'm totally healthy in the morning and the afternoon, but night is when I go berserk.
So what has happened is, either you have not spaced your food well. That could be one reason. You had overdose of caffeine, right?
I don't drink coffee though.
Okay. Tea also has caffeine.
I don't drink tea.
Oh, wonderful. Then it's very nice. So then maybe you need certain food items that are missing from your day's routine. These are the patterns that we have to understand. Well, this needs a little planning for you. But what I'm trying to say is, for 2-3 days that you spend at home and you're feeling good, try and jot down that this is what I ate, and I was comfortable. So when you go out, try and pack small little things. I don't mean that you pack biscuits, because that you'll get anywhere. Try and pack things which you can't get outside, and you'll be all right. Your energy levels will be high. But for that, have a little bit of protein, little bit of carbs, and a little bit of micronutrients, because we miss on micronutrients, which are very important for us. Like for example, zinc. You must have zinc. You must have magnesium, and very important for a woman to have this.
Yeah, so I think, there's so much information out there that we tend to get totally lost
You were saying that
in
you
that.
travel, so...
Yeah, I'll just talk about that. I think, I think Gunjan is right now only, I don't know, I mean, she gave very good advice, but can you remember it and kind of implement it also? That I think the practicality of the situation for everybody has to be there. And the simple rule of thumb, for me, this is from my personal experience and what I see, what she said is a very important point, that there might be something missing from your day-to-day life. The best point is, when you look around and you see a big KFC burger on an advertisement on the highway, I mean, you're hungry, you want that burger, you open the TV, there are 10 advertisements, you open another channel, there are so many more, you go to a conference, there's that big glass of toffees kept there. What can you do? You are bombarded with food everywhere you go. It is so hard to resist. And coming from being kind of fundamentally an overweight food person, it's very hard for me to resist. So my rule of thumb is out of sight, out of mind is my first thing. So at home, Don't keep that namkeen or biscuits for the guests that will someday show up at your house, or that bottle of coke, or that bottle of like sugary juice, or paper boat, or whatever you want to do. Just first of all, don't keep it in your environment. As long as you have a control of your environment, let's say today you're not going for this conference. You have a control of your environment. If you have a control of your environment, you have the control of what you put in your fridge in your house. No, nothing from a packet should enter your house. That is my personal preference. Everything in a packet is made in a factory. If you turn something around, if you turn a banana around and it says main ingredients banana, sodium chloride, sulfate, something, it's not food. I think it's made in a factory with some kind of preservatives. You want to eat as much real food as you can. So focus on eating food. I think don't focus on eating anything processed. The moment you have something that's been put in a packet, that has some ingredients you don't understand from a chemistry lab, just do not eat that. I think that's rule number one. In India, in a country we live, wherein you drive your car on the side, right, left, you'll find a fruits wala. You'll find a kele wala. We'll stop at a chip shop, we'll buy a bottle of coke, or we'll get a packet of biscuits. You have real food on the street right next to you. Just make a good decision, because when you have, let's say you have a plate of apples and you have a plate of chocolates, and I ask you to eat as many as you want. I mean, you can keep on, you'll notice. Apple, aap kitna khaoge? You'll have 1 apple, 2 apples, 3 apples. You cannot finish that whole apple. After that, you'll feel really full and you won't want to eat more apples. But when you have a packet of chocolates, somehow we can just go on eating and suddenly we want one more and okay, you bring it on, let's get one more. It becomes like that because that's completely processed food. And I think Gunjan will agree, our body does not really understand packaged processed food. When you have real food, your body recognizes those real ingredients and it is able to process them. And the third thing is to be prepared always. My preparatory thing is to have nuts with me all the time. So I have almonds, walnuts, cashews. They are not going to harm you ever. If you want to keep a fruit, keep a fruit. I know it's very hard, like she said, she has her own food. I also carry my own dabbas with me everywhere. If somebody wants to look at you, oh my god, she's eating her own food, let them do that. If you're all going out in a group with your friends and they're like, why is she ordering a salad? Yeah, have a pizza, have a burger, have your noodles, have your Hakka noodles, whatever. It doesn't matter. You have to stand your ground and people will respect you for that. They will not say, oh, look at her, she's so spoiled, she's having a salad, like, come on, yeah. In India, that's the culture. But you don't want to be a part of that because you have taken the decision to be healthy. So you have to stand up as an example and people will actually be inspired around you. And wherever you go, I'm sure today also in the buffet when there is lunch, there will be a salad section. Eat that salad. You always have an option. Even when you go to a restaurant, no matter how unhealthy it is, you can ask the chef, मुझे salad चाहिए या मुझे ये healthy खाना चाहिए. You have an option. You always have an option.
But then it becomes a little difficult for people who are traveling or
No, I know. But that's what I'm saying. I also travel a lot. If I don't find an option, like I just look at the menu. First of all, try your best to go to a place where you know you'll have a healthy option. If you cannot go to that particular place, you are in a place, just request the person, request the chef. You can make some requests.
A little bit, yeah. See, for example, it is not possible. Let's be very practical. As you said, nuts. Now, nuts, a lot of people have allergens. I work in a hotel. We have a list of allergens. So where nuts is the biggest game. Yeah. So we have to make food with or without nuts at all. So that's one thing. It's very nice to have nuts, but not recommended that you carry nuts throughout.
I'm just saying my personal example.
No, I'm just trying to tell them that nuts can be a very big allergen. So you be conscious. I also want to say, I don't want you to be standing and saying, oh, the person is having a pizza. I'm not. Please enjoy everything. My son, another meal. I don't want you to starve yourself. Have something because when you eat, now this is a science, you have to fill your stomach only to 70% because the 30% you leave for the gases and the juices to be developed and for them to be digested. And that is sometimes you see you've eaten and you say, oh, I'm very bloated. Because you have not left any space in your stomach for digestion to happen. So you have to leave some area for digestion. And at the same time, if you reduce that by another percent, if you're in an area where there are only pastas, pizzas or burgers, enjoy, please enjoy. But again a little bit in moderation. Yes, please.
Thank you. I think I'm connecting a little bit to what both of you are saying.
Okay.
One is, I travel a lot. I'm a facilitator. I go to client sites. I can't control, really. I have to eat what I'm given. And yet, I've noticed that if I go looking for it,
Yes.
I find something that is not perhaps half bad. If it's not chola bhatura, at least it's curd rice.
Yeah. Give me a moment.
So-
Let me complete this. I will get back to you. That's a very valid point. You see what I'm trying to say? और जैसे कहान मतलब कहावत है राह है तो चाह है तो राह है तो वो खाना उनको मिल जाएगा. Now another point is, please when you're eating ना don't think like pizza है तो I'll lap onto it. You might find something else equally interesting, but what I'm trying to say, when you're having a salad, have a 1/4, half a slice of pizza also. Because till such time, mentally you're not satisfied, your food is useless.
आपकी ना आवाज मेरे दिल तक पहुंची नीचे मैंने इसलिए डिजर्ट खा लिया आज.
Acha, very good, very good. You should enjoy.
Of course.
You know, acha, like for example, our cuisine has 6 tastes, and all the tastes have to be present in one thali. That is an Indian traditional way. By thali, I don't mean you lagao a thali of a pizza and any fast food or a pasta. Whatever you're eating, it should be consisting of sweet, sour, salty, pungent, bitter, and astringent. आप जब ये थोड़ा थोड़ा भी सब खा लेंगे ना, you feel very satisfied. Huh?
बड़ा अच्छा.
Thank you. Okay, so what I'm just trying to say is, please remember, once you're eating this, because then what happens is, you're satisfying your body and you're satisfying your mind. And once these link is created, your soul is satisfied. And once all three are connected, and that is yoga. That is what we say, healing through yoga, food for yoga. And you have to make a connection between all the three. And if your mind is unsatisfied, for most of the time you're looking and searching for food in spite of the fact you've eaten a whole meal.
Can I share something?
Yeah.
My own story I'll share with you.
Yeah.
I have been a kind of girl used to look for cold coffee everywhere because my mind wala satisfaction. Now since I have started thinking and I'm going into more spiritually with myself, trust me, मेरा mind ही नारियल पानी ढूंढता है. वो cold coffee नहीं ढूंढता.
Because you
Once
have
it's
tuned
done.
your mind.
And the way you said that, अगर cold coffee होगी या नारियल पानी होगा, I'll go for नारियल पानी. Automatic, this link has been created, but इतने सालों से नहीं था. It's been
Actually, you
1.5
have to
years.
create it. There are some things you have to break as links in your mind. It's very, I'm telling you, coming from the other side is very hard for me. I cannot eat half a slice of pizza. I have to eat the whole slice, and then I will eat the second
No,
slice.
no, this
If it's on the table.
No,
Like,
she's saying.
Same has happened with me in terms of McDonald's ka burger or pizza and
Yeah.
everything,
Yeah.
which I used to look forward to it. Now it's okay, fine. अब मैं ऐसा क्या खा सकती हूँ which give nutrition, which give more protein to my body.
actually, another thing is to understand how the thing is that you're eating is harming your body. I think once you have the awareness
Yes.
that if I have so much sugar, I agree, okay, the chocolate cake is very satisfying, but doesn't mean that, you know, for example, if someone gives you a packet of, I mean, it might be a little controversial. Let's say I'm a mother, so do we have some mothers in the audience?
Yes.
Awesome, great. So will you ever give your child, Beta, here, take a packet of cigarettes, take it to school,
No,
bring
no.
it? You will never do that. But we do that very thing with heavy loaded sugar items. I am telling you, it is having a very adverse effect on your children. There was a time when smoking was absolutely okay in the world. There was a era of society wherein on aeroplanes, in movie theaters, everywhere you could probably just do that. That's absolutely okay. But then we started discovering the adverse effects of cigarettes on our lungs. People started getting lung cancer. The government took a decision. Now every packet of cigarettes has that sign on it. Imagine if every packet of Lay's had that kind of horrible thing on it, then we would not pick it up for our children. We would not pick it up for our chocolate, those chocolates for our children. And what Gunjan was saying, obesity is so prevalent in kids. When you walk into McDonald's with your child or when you walk into a KFC with your child, you are telling them this is okay. So I don't think that is a good example every day. This is a treat. You can look forward to it. You know, in ice cream or chocolates are a treat. There was a time when it's supposed to be a treat. It's not supposed to be an everyday thing of these packets of Lays every day. And that's horrible. I don't know why my parents did that to me. Now I've reversed it, but now you have an opportunity to set an example for your children. Birthdays, go for it. Diwali, go for it. India has so many holidays, we're always going for sweets. You know, so, and that's also there.
I have a situation. Even today we had this gulab jamun. That's fine. We are training our
it's
mind and
nothing wrong by eating a gulab jamun. Now, know her point of having a burger. Why can't you teach the child to make a burger? And while teaching the child to make a burger, you're telling the child, इसमें देखो इतना घी डालना पड़ता है. So once he sees, he'll be conscious. You have to make the child aware what is going and what is happening with him and the body. And mind you, obesity is just a very small time phenomena. If we want, we can easily eradicate it from our country. Because we are all hardworking people. A lot of work is done manually. Now in Europe and in America, most of the work is done by the machines. So that activity is not there. You see, walking is that they walk because they have to walk on a treadmill. Whereas we walk from here to another destination because there's no point taking out a car or a vehicle. We'll go to the market walking. They don't believe in those kind of things. India, obesity is just, I think, a sent over disease from the Europe and the West, which we can control and which only mothers can or the parents can help the child to control.
It's all a state of mind.
Yeah.
I wanted to check, after eating everything, you actually pointed that out, that you feel like eating something crunchy or munchies.
No. What I'm trying to say is you must have all the 6 flavors in
I'm
your...
asking you, what do you do to stop that?
No, you
After
must have
eating
had...
full,
Huh.
after eating fully, you still have that longing to have something crunchiness or like some...
Like you're not satisfied basically.
What? No. Like now...
This sweet craving
No, what I'm trying to say is you must have had some crunch. Papad is part of a food. Why papad is part of a food? Because there's a crunch in it. We have a roti which is softer. We have chawal which has a different texture. So all textures have to be a part of the diet. You get my point? All the 6 tastes, all the textures, and even some liquid is very important. We have dahi, out of which we make a raita. That I'm talking about the Indian cuisine. So, which I think all of us sitting here would be having one Indian meal. Even if you're traveling or even you might be cooking any meal, but one Indian meal I'm sure all of us might be having. So just to sum up, I think we all need to make a very strong endeavor to be conscious about what we are eating. Just a few tips is be seasonal and be very conscious when you're cooking. Be mindful. And above all, there's one thing I like to say, eat only when you're at peace within yourself. And mind you, if you're at peace with yourself, even a very small meal will give you satisfaction. If you're eating in a hurry, you're eating because you have to eat. The mind is not eating. I request all of you to let your mind eat the food rather than only the body eat the food. You see, when you say you've eaten a full meal, I can guarantee you, try it tonight. Sit down in peace, bring the food in front of you and say, this is going to give me a satisfaction, this is going to give me my nutrition that I need. And you will be satisfied in one pulka. But by that I mean whatever your diet is, you can easily reduce it to some percentage. This will only happen when you are at peace within yourself, with a peace within your mind, and that will bring peace to your body. So, at the end of the...
I want to add something in this.
Yeah.
So, I call it like, you tell me what you eat and I can tell you who you are. So, हमने बहुत सुना है, बचपन में बहुत सुनते थे, पेरेंट्स कहते थे खाना खाते वक्त बात नहीं करनी चाहिए. कभी किसी ने ये नहीं बताया कि क्यों नहीं करनी चाहिए. आज समझ आया, because have done MBA in self management and crisis management, तो doing meditation and all, खाना खाते वक्त इसलिए बात नहीं करनी चाहिए क्योंकि जो हम खा रहे हैं ना, उस समय जो वाइब्रेशंस हैं, उसका असर माइंड पे पड़ता है.
Correct. That is a meditation. It is a form.
Talking while you're eating, a lot of air goes into your system.
And you're diverting your mind. See, your mind has to be in a meditation form. What is meditation? Your concentration in one point. So at that point, the concentration is not
Transformation
food.
of thoughts.
No, No, I know you're only focusing on food, and that is a meditation. So if you eat, that's what I'm saying. If you're conscious and you're at peace with your mind, only then can you meditate.
Exactly.
So you have to be first fundamental rule for eating food and staying healthy is have peace within you before eating the food. And I remember very well, my grandfather was having a meal and a guest knocked at the door. So my grandmother said he's not at home and maybe he'll come back after 5 minutes. I said, why is she lying? She's telling me not to lie and she's lying to the guest. When I asked her, she said, when you're eating the food, I don't want to disturb him. See, this is big. A woman can do it because she holds the fort in the house, and that's why I feel all of us sitting here are responsible for the health of the family. It is we who are responsible, not the husbands. Because for them, they have to earn the bread. We have to make that bread. So I feel we should carry this legacy. And please pass it on to your children as well, because we have a very rich heritage, which I feel is somehow diluting. I won't say dying, but it's getting diluted. But we can revive it and make ourselves proud Indian. As Modi ji said, till such time we don't take pride in our own cuisine, nobody else is going to take. So firstly, we have to take pride in our own food, in our own cuisine, and then take it forward. Thank you so much. And thank you for being patient with both of us.
Yeah, thank you. So just as a concluding note to all the mothers as well here, you have a big role to play in your children's life. So if your school has a menu that they're serving their kids, please look at that menu. And if there's anything that you feel that your child should not be eating, I know a lot of mothers like it when their school serves pasta, pizza, Italian, Chinese cuisine, Oreo biscuits, or whatever it is. This is complete junk food. Your children do not deserve it in their body. And there's something called voting with your wallet. Companies only make those things that you buy. Tomorrow, if you don't buy Coca-Cola for your kids, you don't buy Hershey's chocolate for your kids, you don't buy Cadbury Dairy Milk, they will all be forced to change what they create, because the company won't be making money. So I would really suggest all of this food, which is full of sugar, which is not really good for your child, you also know it, try to discourage that from happening. And as a concluding note, if you want to take anything away, I think you should just eat real food. And of course have those days where you are satisfying your brain mentally. And don't forget to chew your food. That's also something that I wanted to add. And thank you so much. Thank you.
There was, yeah. And why did we not see it the first time round?
Because we were trying to see the white.
Because why were you seeing the white?
You asked us.
I told you to.
Yeah,
Of course. But my answer. And we'll explore more and more of this as the session progresses. Okay. Now you know that this session is about leadership, personal transformation for leadership excellence. So transformation is a word which denotes a certain progression. Moving ahead somewhere. Somewhat paradoxically, I'm going to explore reclaiming parts of ourselves so that we can move ahead. So in dictionary, transformation is defined as a complete change in the appearance or character of something or someone, especially so that that thing or person is improved. A complete change in form, nature or appearance. I feel it's a little inadequate. So let's just say that we spend the next 14 or so minutes coming up with our own definition of what transformation is. That agreed? Are you with me?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. And since we'll be doing this with each other's help, here's what I would like you to do. Just turn to the person next to you and introduce yourself and just your name, okay? And also think about one character, a superhero or a heroine ठीक है? Okay, so that's what you do. You have 20 seconds. Please.
That's very
Done? Facilitator. I've been doing this for the past 11 or more years. And I'm here with two other. I don't know about the third. Are you also part of this? Are you Aditi? Nidhi, yes. So I'm here with three other lovely ladies who will now introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Radhika, and I'm here again with lovely ladies all around me in the whole hotel. I'm just loving it.
So good to be here, and this is my second session at WEF. I love the energy, I love the videos, and I'm totally excited to interact and look forward to this session and many more from WEF. And more importantly, I'm totally focused on you right now.
Wonderful, thank you. Okay, so introductions have happened. You found your superhero or heroine character?
I did not find.
Yeah, okay, keep thinking about it. Now, here's what I want you to do next. You all have these papers that I gave?
Yes.
Yeah. On that, I want you to write one challenge, issue or problem you are facing in your life right now, whether that is personal or professional. This is just for yourself. You're not going to share this with anyone. So just write whatever you need to. I would not hang out with my friends until I was absolutely compelled to do so. And I didn't have a lot of friends, and I had three very good friends. And I would not. And I told myself, I don't really need anyone, okay? That's it. I don't need anyone. That's what I told myself. Friends, let me introduce you to the moon-walking bear. Our inability to recognize and accept our emotions. Our inability to do that. I was lonely. I was sad. Depressed. What did I tell myself? I'm independent now. That was my strategy of kind of dealing with it. Here's what's missing for us when we think about our personal lives. A lot of times, we don't pause and think about how do we feel about a particular issue. About somebody, about something. Let's do that now. I want you to really focus on what you've written on that piece of paper. And I want you to think about how do you feel about it. It could be like in between feelings, like uncomfortable or happy-ish. That's okay. Really just connect to that problem and think about how you feel about it right now. It could even be a person that you have a feeling about. Okay. Can you tell me what some of the feelings are here? Just the feelings, not the issue.
Confused.
Confused. Okay.
Shy.
What's that confusion making you feel?
Irritated.
Okay, stop. Irritated. It's a form of anger.
Shy.
Shy. Okay. Shy is a discomfort.
Be motivated in the shy.
Ah, okay. things about what to do and what not to do? Remember that? What are some of the things we are told? When in public, always ... Yeah? Did you get told these things? Yes? Quite a lot of them actually. Now today morning when I was walking out the door, I heard a voice say, your skirt is too tight. And I realized that obviously nobody was telling me that. It was, in my head. So over time, that voice that sounds remarkably like your mom, your grandmom, or your some grand aunt, it becomes your voice. And you start telling yourself these things. You are like this. You are like that. You start judging yourself. I'm a single mom. Okay? And I kind of balance, like many of you here, I balance career and caring for my child. That's a difficult balance. Doesn't always work. Sometimes I'm either judging myself as, you're going to spoil your daughter's life. That's what you want. Karo? Karo na? Kaam karo? This is what you want. That's the result. Sometimes I'm being told, कुछ नहीं होने वाला तुम्हारा. You are not getting anywhere. Sorry. यही है. ये तुम्हारा level यही है. Okay? That's the other end of the spectrum. So I have these judgmental voices, the inner dialogue for me that comes up, which is a lot like this. You are this, you are that, you did this, you did that. Can you write down about the issue or challenge or person you wrote about? Your issue. Can you write down 3 self-limiting dialogues that you've been telling yourself? 3 self-limiting dialogues that you've been telling yourself, and you have, okay? Don't tell me you haven't. There is a good chance that you have.
If they're not connected to the issue, are you just saying a general thing?
It's good if they're connected to the issue because in this we are working with it. But if they are not, and you are really connecting to some other voices right now, absolutely. And if you can't identify these voices right now, it's okay. They'll come. Don't worry about it, they'll come. So a while ago I was confused as to why that was. Anyway, I got a few tests done. I found out I have hyperthyroidism. It's called Graves' disease. Okay, and I got medicated for it. And then after a while I realized that I'm not really feeling good. It's like a lot of tension is really coiled inside me. Like something feels really tight in my body. And this came after a very long time. So I went to a psychologist and I told her about it. So together, she and I discovered that actually I had not finished grieving for my mom. Although when she passed away, I immediately jumped into work and I said, listen, get over it. Get over it and do what you need to. So I got over it and I went, and that's what happened. Worse still, I realized that I did not recognize the grief that my father and my sisters were going through. I did not feel it. I was not present. I was not present. You know how when people take attendance in school and you say, present ma'am? I had become not present to life. Not present. presence thing is quite painful. It takes a while. It takes becoming aware of one's body, becoming aware of one's thoughts, becoming aware of one's feelings. So here's the other thing I learned about transformation. It's about being present. It's about being mindful. What's going on with you? What's going on with the other person? If I am not present to myself, how do I be present and coach somebody else? How can I be, say I'm a leader and not be present? You can see that I have a lot of judgment about myself with that. I'm letting go of that judgment also right now in the room. When I was young, and I literally will take 3 more minutes. Is that okay? Yes, sir. So when I was young, I used to not excel at drawing. That was not cool. Because my elder sister, both my sisters were very accomplished. One was an international badminton player and the other one was a very great artist. And so when I was small and I couldn't draw, it didn't stop me from drawing. You know, I used to draw anything I wanted, every time I wanted, anywhere I wanted, much to my parents' distress. Pure ghar mein, you know, on the walls there'd be these little drawings. And then, you know, I used to get my art paper. 0 on 40. Next year again art paper. 2 on 85. And I figured, okay, I'm not a creative person. नहीं है, बता रहे ना, 0 दे दिया है. They're telling me I'm not creative. Here's something that happened recently. I found my own definition for creativity. It is to do with fearlessness. I really wanted to help people, from underserved sections of the society, and I wanted to coach them. I wanted to work with an organization, and I realized that there is no such organization. And I was talking to my friend, we were finding ideas. Now, here's the question that got to me that she asked. What are you afraid of? I was afraid of failing. Not being able to. Being less. क्योंकि बोला था ना, don't be less. सब अच्छे से करना. That's what my mom told me. So I can't fail. The minute I let go of that fear that I can't fail, I said fail. That's when I could actually go out and help people. So guys, I want you to access a little bit of that fearless energy right now that you have. And think about if it's coming to you, a creative solution to your problem. If it's coming to you, and if it doesn't come, that's okay. You just spend some time focusing on it. Positively. If it comes, take a few seconds. And I'm going to leave you with a quote. This is by Eckhart Tolle in his book called The Power of Now. Nothing has happened in the past. It happened in the now. Nothing will ever happen in the future. It will happen in the now. Thank you very much.
The moment we take the responsibility of one more person in our life, we become leaders. That one more person can be ourselves, but sometimes it happens so that in the race of time, we just forget that we are responsible for our own selves as well. And to make you a little more towards what I am thinking, I would want to take you onto this very small journey of my life. In my adolescent years, you would probably not see me thinking or talking like this or standing in front of you at all. Yes, I was the ugly duckling, maybe still I am, the black sheep, no confidence. Whenever there used to be an inter-house competition or there used to be, sort of involvement of any school project, I was never included by the peers. But I never let that hit me hard. I never let that negativity hold on to me. I was very fond of dancing. So whenever there used to be inter-school competitions, I was never taken as a part to be one of the dancers. And today, I look back at them and I tell them, you know what, you see, I have kind of choreographed many dance shows. That time when there used to be theatre in the school, they never used to involve me in the school plays, and here I am, 2 theatre olds here working with one of the finest directors in Kolkata. And how can I do all that? I can do all that only because I made myself semi-permeable and only let positivity within. I could have just let my hair down to negativity. I could have just let my bars down to okay. I could have cocooned, but I did not do that. Because I believe in order to exhibit that leadership skill, in order to make yourself more matured in your thinking, you have to start from within yourself. I took the responsibility of my own self. That one person was me within. Because I always believe that a leader does not always acquire. A leader always inspires. And in my entire life till today, I have just been looking out for inspirations around me and trying to make an impact myself. I don't mean to say that I want to hit people at the right spot. No, hit is very small. I want to make an impact. Because I believe that if you have your resources, if you have, the ability to desire, if you are focused at something, you should just not use that. You should exploit it. The moment you understand there is a very strong difference between use and exploit, you would know you're getting there. Today, after so many years of not being there, if I look back, today after fighting a very fatal operation last year in my life, and then bringing on to theatre into my life, now being a soft skill trainer, talking a life educationist, I work a lot with women and children in the corporates. I could not even have imagined this years back. And how am I able to do all this today? Because I have made myself the channel of metamorphosis within me. That is what I've been doing. And how can I do that? I utilize one very important thing, which is time. I don't leave anything for tomorrow. Whatever I do, I try and benefit and make the most of it today. I made myself porous to all the technology around, to all the women around, to all whatever is available in the form of abundance towards me, because I believe if you make yourself porous is only when you will be able to grow. You have to always feel that unsaturation for knowledge. And that is what I did. I never let my hair down to negativity, and I hold on that no, I want to grow, and here I am in front of you today. My very close inner circle, friends, family, they always ask me, how the hell do you make so much of time? You are doing this, you're doing that, you are managing your corporate work, I do a lot of charity work, I do a lot of work with women and children, and I socialize. I'm a people's person. How the hell can you do all this? Where is the time? And I just tell them just one very important thing. That I do all this because मुझे एक ही जिंदगी मिली है, और अगर मैं हर वक्त उसका इस्तेमाल नहीं करूँ तो जिंदगी बुरा मान जाएगी. You cannot let your life sulk. That is very important. You have your first responsibility to life. And remember one thing, I'll leave you with just 2 words. I am. When I say I am Vajanti Pugalia, I feel proud of myself in whatever level I've attained, whatever I've done in my life. But that one word I and the second word am has to be powerful. And you have to make that powerful, because it is you who have to remember that you are the leader. Baki baad mein aate hain, pehle you are the leader of your own self. That one responsibility that you have is first, inner management, and then the outer management. So remember, next time whenever you introduce yourself that I am so and so, make that I am very worthwhile. Thank you, ladies.
And I know being women rocks too.
Yes.
Hello. Yeah. Hi, good evening, all the beautiful ladies, dazzling. And, I have been, that's what I tell my friends and everybody, I am actually a headhunter, that is an HR consultant, and I've been, going to many conferences where you see black jackets, and that's it, So this is the most colorful conference I've come in, and amazing, and such lovely dresses and everything, wow, this sari, wow, this dress, wow, this color. So being woman rocks. Okay. Before I start with a small story, which is my own story, I would just like to read something, and I'm sure after you listen to once you listen to this, and I think then when you listen to my story, you'll definitely be able to, connect with what I'm going to read. And then we are going to join the dots between personal transformation and the leadership. So it's in a 3-phase, so I'll just start very quickly. See, actually personal transformation is, it starts from your inner self, okay? It is basically an internal job. No one can change if you want to change yourself first. It is not, you go to somebody and you go to a life coach and you listen to some speaks and all that, and you say, I want to change. I'm sorry, you cannot change. It is from internally, it's an internal job. You say, I want to change, no matter, nothing can stop you, no hurdle, nothing can stop you from changing. And everything you do is based on the choices you make. Nobody, your parents, your past relationships, your job, the economy, nowadays I think we are blaming it on the economy also, and the weather. You being a Mumbaikar, I can say, oh, it's raining and it's flooding and all, nothing. Or probably your age. We are all, I think, 40 plus, all over here. Sort of. Yeah. And moreover, this is not even about being perfect. Nobody is perfect. And I really like that lady, she said, I don't have any problem. So, yes, we might not, but then we have to think a little more deeper, and I think all of us will have small or the other problems or maybe something we want to change, or maybe something, situation we want to change, or as women, I think we want to change our wardrobe also sometimes. So this is a small story, which is my life story, and I think now you can just, you'll be able to relate. Just few years back, I was around 35, 36, when the doctors told me that I have to go through an operation, which is an hysterectomy operation, and where both the ovaries are removed, okay? And as I say, I was quite young at that time, and it was like, I never knew what it is basically like, so I went through the Google and I studied and all that. So it was quite a shock to me. And the symptoms, the after effects and all these things. And it was quite a shock. So in any case, it had to be done because it was medical. And luckily, I would definitely like to mention that my doctor is also here. And incidentally, she is my Jitani also. So, and anyways, we went through this operation. And the second part of the trauma or the difficult times came when after the hysterectomy operation, I had this hernia problem, which I had to again get operated for. In this hernia, there was this spinal anesthesia which was given to me, which went wrong, and I was left, below my waist. I was not able to move at all. So totally left, not able to move, and I was in the wheelchair for some time. Then I thought, that's what my husband also says, and the doctor told him that it will be quite a blessing if she leaves, I mean, she will be leaving the hospital on a wheelchair, you know. So he was in a different kind of, because I've got two small kids at that time. So we were, you know, everybody was in a big time trauma and all that. But when I came back home on a wheelchair. I went healthy, walking to the hospital, and I came back home on a wheelchair. And, you know, two kids going to the school, so it was quite a tough time for me. But I think, and I thought, you know, and everybody I think will agree, all the mothers here, no matter what happens to you, I think for kids, you can just do anything. So, you know, on my wheelchair, going to the kitchen and preparing different boxes for them and all that, and I did everything. But of course, for my personal work, I had to have somebody who has to assist me and all that. And that is why, that is the time when I thought, you know, this is not going to work. And this is how it is not going to work, and I don't want to be all my life on this wheelchair. And that is where I would say that you'll be able to connect for the personal transformation. When I said no, with all those exercises and everything, you can see me standing there. Thank you. And then that is the time, you know, it's been years, and I thought that, you know, there has to be something which all of us need to share. All of us have different stories to share. You know, everybody goes through different traumas in life. Everybody has a story where there is a pain attached to it, you know, where you have come out as a winner, you are still going through pain, and you know, you want to come out of it. Everybody, all women have
Sorry
it.
to interrupt you. We have, you know, I'm from the Kolkata chapter.
Yes.
And next to Shoma, my friend Shabuni, she's sitting.
Okay.
And quite similar, if
Okay.
not on the wheelchair, she was paralyzed. There she's sitting.
Oh, that's
And
paralytic
I
also,
can-
almost the same.
Yeah, and I can identify as you speak. So what you're saying is absolutely right.
Yeah.
Please continue.
Thank you. So I have
No,
one.
for Shamika.
So I think we have a story there.
Yes.
And I think all of you also have different stories where, you know, you must have gone through different kind of after marriage, before marriage, after kids, before kids. Everybody has a story. So that is the time, as I said in the beginning, that I've been working with, you know, corporate, you know, placement, with working with men, you know, going to men. I thought in the end, I thought now, that, you know, I need to do something for women. Enough of, you know, men's interacting with men. So just a few months back, I came out with this idea, not just being woman. Just being woman is good, but I thought being woman rocks. So that is why I thought that my leadership skill, where I think my friends tell me that I'm fine, I'm good at it. So I thought I need to connect all the women, and that is where we had to see. What I feel is, it's not just as an entrepreneurial woman, you are a leader or something like that. You know, just homemakers also. They have the leadership skill. Everybody has leadership skills. And I think all of us have something or the other to share. You have some story or something to share. So that is what I felt, that, you know, for so many years I was working from home only. So I feel that as I've been doing two things at the same time, being a professional, an entrepreneur, a homemaker. I think all of us have this, you know. We wear multi-hats, all of us, all women. So I thought, let's connect all the women together, and that's the time when I came out with this idea. And thank God, it's been just 3-4 years, and around we are around 3,000 plus altogether, friends. Thank you. And I don't believe that it's the leader. Leader is not the person who walks in the front. Leader is a person who walks at the back of the whole flock and pushes everybody forward. That's what a leader is. You know, you have to push, not even with them. As a matter of fact, you have to walk at the end, and you know, have to keep on pushing people. You know, go on. You have to achieve. That's what a true leader is. So I think this is what I've been doing, and I would love to do, and that's what I am. Thank you.
Just very briefly tell us, how did you
You know, I always thought that I have got the worst problem. I have a
external things first than our internal first. We know we are born alone, we know we're going to die alone, yet that doesn't sink in. We call it by virtue of our environment, we call it by virtue of the fact of our upbringing, of socializing, call it whatever. But the fact is that as we grow, we are no more that pure, we are no more that sane as we were as children. So whoever has children or whoever sees small kids around, they're the beauty of God, they're epitome of what we were meant to be. And yet, during the journey, we forget really who we are. We go on a journey of discovery, of finding ourselves, looking for ourselves. Who are we? Why are we here? What is it that we're supposed to do? Yet, the answer lies all in front of us. All we need to do is to look at children. That's exactly how God, Almighty, Universe, life meant us to be. So when we're talking in terms of personal transformation, that really happens because, we get adulterated, like a lot of things get adulterated in life. So the process of personal transformation really starts from decluttering and from the aspect of going back to what you're supposed to be, which we also call change. We call change management, which means we're supposed to unlearn a few things and then learn a few things back. So quickly saying, what needs to be transformed, or what is it that we are looking at to change. Once the awareness is there, we need to acknowledge, because the journey from awareness to acknowledgement is not easy either. We may be aware, but we would like to kind of brush it under the carpet. We may be aware, but then we may not really want to do something about it, so kind of put it at the back burner and all of that. So from awareness to acknowledgement, yes, there is a transformation that needs to happen. From there to action. So fine, there is a transformation that needs to happen. Now what? Unless and until there's an action that is happening, like I was speaking and discussing the panel which happened at 2 today. So the fact is that yes, if there is a situation, there is a problem, what is it that we're doing about it? So from action to alter, and that alter or that alteration needs to be in terms of our way of thinking, our way of working. In the family, my mother-in-law was going through a depression. So I was actually thinking that, what is it that I want to, give as a takeaway? How is it that I can add value to this session? What is it that I can talk of? What is it that I can show that will make at least some change in somebody's life? And while I was just thinking and I was listening to some songs on YouTube and I was just in my thoughts, there was this advertisement which came, and trust me, these guys have not paid me to show it to you. But there was this ad which was playing in YouTube as the song was about to play, and I would love to run this video.
कोई भी लड़ाई आसान तो नहीं होती, अगर आसान होती तो लड़ाई नहीं होती। मेरे माँ के सपोर्ट के बिना तो मैं करना तो दूर की बात है, मेरे अंदर वो सोच ही नहीं आती कि मुझे ऐसा कुछ करना है। Mother being a coach is really bad, or you can say very tough also, for being a strong team and fighting the world together.
कुछ लोग बोलते थे कि क्यों कराना है, मोटी हो रही है, काली पड़ जाएगी।
Administration of the pool would tell you to wear long costumes because आपका तो ठीक है लेकिन लोगों की नजरें यहाँ पे गलत है। That makes you very angry.
92, 93 में तो उदयपुर में सिर्फ एक ही स्विमिंग पूल था, वो भी प्राइवेट होटल का स्विमिंग पूल था। तो उस टाइम में होटल में एक लेडी का इस तरह से अकेले जाना, तो मेरे हस्बैंड साथ में नहीं रहते थे। सब बोलते थे देखो हस्बैंड नहीं रहते तो ये तो घूमती फिरती भटकती रहती होटलों में जा रही है।
Passion only takes you till a certain level. After that, it's discipline that comes into play.
कई बार मेरे दिमाग में भी आया कि क्यों करना है। जब मैंने
If you ever held a piece of ice in your hand, you will know this feeling that it's a very prickly feeling, like 1,000 needles are poking you. 2 डिग्री में जब मैं उतरी तो स्टार्टिंग में आप शिवर करना चालू करते हो, उसके बाद तक आपका दिमाग बोलने लगता है कि आप सो जाओ, और उस समय अगर आप सो गए बाहर निकल के भी तो बहुत ज़्यादा चांसेस है कि आप कोमा में जा सकते हैं. It's like climbing Mount Everest, you know, there's no guarantee that you will come back alive. What struggle, what distance माँ बेटी में I am having the whole of my life now. Society part was really bad. No support from anybody. I'm fighting over it.
डर निकाले अंदर से, जो डरते ना मेरी लड़की कुछ हो जाएगा, क्या हो जाएगा, इस डर को निकाले और हिम्मत देते रहे उसको. डर निकलेगा तो मजा आएगा. मतलब लड़कियां तो आगे नहीं बढ़ती.
Why can't I be good at both academics and sports? Why do you not consider my sport as a profession? Why do you keep asking me शादी कब करोगे? Why do you keep asking me इससे क्या होगा? Is it not enough that I am happy doing it? And why try to put me in a certain mold? Just let me be.
Thank you, guys. So essentially, it's not going to be easy, but it's worth it. All about your human revolution. Leadership is all about getting to the next level, and your life's worth it. Thank you.
And those who are on diet, thank you. So colorful, huh? Even the rainbow is going to go shy. Oh.
3 cheers for the leaders. Yay! Hip hip.
Hooray!
Hip hip.
Hooray!
Hip hip.
Hooray!
Hold on. I think the phone camera is
It's all getting uploaded somewhere, right?
You're on the left side. So we are going to get famous.
Rashmalaki sir.
I'm with you.
As you see, first of all, I really want to acknowledge all the women here in this room, including the gentleman who's looking at me. Is it okay if I can ask you a lot of questions?
Yes, please.
Yes? Okay. So, yeah. So, I think everybody can answer. Just a few questions. So, how many of us drive here? Yeah? Something, at least a cycle we have done some time back, kids, or a car or a scooter, whatever. Yeah, so whatever we have been driving as a vehicle, after you've driven for a long time, do you just go on and start another journey? Or do you actually switch it off for some time and say, garam ho jayegi? You do that?
Yes.
Okay, got that. Beautiful. Now, how many of us, I would be surprised if there's anybody in the room who doesn't have a laptop or a PC or a smartphone? Is there anybody who's never switched off their computer, their laptop, or their mobile phones? You've never switched it off, or you've never put it on charge where the batteries are going to get drained? Anybody? No? Okay, how about the fans and the lights? Is there anybody who's got any fans and lights in the room which can go on and on and on and on and on and on and on?
Orient Pankha, chalta rahe.
You're a good brand ambassador for them, right? Okay, so if
When I don't need it, I switch it off.
yeah, so my question is: there anybody who's not switching it off?
Not switch.
Not switching it off? Okay, let's look at the gas stoves. Is there anybody who's continually using it? Cooking. No, and if that is so for these things, I think we deserve a big round of applause. Is there anyone who's not ever tried meditation here? Is there anyone who's never tried meditation? You really deserve a big round of applause, because then you're like a never switched off machine working continuously. Right?
Nobody gets to sleep and then they switch off. You can just be
It can
by
be.
yourself.
So I'm just coming from the scientific end. So let me just give you a little bit of brief of why I'm here to talk of this. Just like this beautiful lady who talked about her journey as a mother who came out of her trauma and her difficulties and came out for children. I was a child in my mother's situation where doctors said just not possible. So it was, I think I was 11 years old. I was just suddenly, morning she was fine, and afternoon I got a call from the hospital saying, it was a big drama, all kinds of things. It was not a physical ailment, it was
more of a psychological or a mental ailment. It's more to do with the physical aspect of the brain, but it is a situation where the person is looking normal, speaking normal, being normal, but not normal. So as a child, I was pushed into, really looking at life in really different domains, where all doctors across India came and said, not possible, this is something to do with the brain, you can't take the person out of this and all of that. And she came back, she was here yesterday, and she was like, in fact, today India, the health segment, like you see Ayush and Ayur and all of that, if today that is created, that was her project in the government industry. So she's been phenomenally changing, all of that coming back. And that point of time I discovered this, what we have between the 2 years is amazing. It's a magic, it's a magic machine. The brain that we have is a magic machine, and we know really very little about it. So that is what sparked my interest into understanding human technology, how we as human beings work. So that was one context for the session, to look at scientifically how does things work, how do we work, especially how does the brain work. Second, I went on to do engineering, but I always had a passion for people, and I've been an entrepreneur from the time I was 15. So for me, it again sparked the engineering, aspect of it, is to look at saying, how do you build something, how do you, create from what is already there, or how do you scientifically try to analyze, things as you see, which are very, very vague, right? So that's one context. Now, because of, I think you would have seen most of the people who have really been through tough times talking of spirituality, right? So again, I'm no different. So I got initiated as a Reiki master when I was 12 or 13, and I'm a Kriya Yogi from the time I've been 13, 14. So it's like spirituality happened really early for me. So all of this has been in parallel, and my expertise is to look at saying after you really see it all in different segments, you start seeing that it's all the same. It's all the same. Okay, so for me, I'm not bringing just the meditation as a context from religion or spirituality or science and all alag. I'm just trying to bring the perspective that I have got from my experience. Okay, so is it okay I can share a few incidents just to talk about what all does happen, right? So before we go into that, I think many of us have here experienced meditation. Yes? Yes? Is there anybody who's never experienced meditation?
Exactly, meditation.
Yeah, so I think all of us have our own versions of meditation.
Exactly.
And I think we also get tangled into the language of what is meditation. Right? Anybody here who's been into meditation who can give us a little light on what it is? Because I think there's a lot of wisdom in all of us here. It's not just one person here.
I think meditation is all about being within.
Being within.
Concentrating within, looking inside. Because we hardly have any time to, spend time, the me time, but in a different domain. As in, you shut out all your thoughts, you block your thoughts. At least you make that effort to block your thoughts and try to concentrate on something which you need to discover, you need to know, but you can't find.
True. Very
so,
true.
yeah, that's
Beautiful.
what
That's very, very
You
good.
concentrate, but all time you're planning and everything is going around in your mind. Even though
I think
another definition.
But another definition what I got to know, and I have been practicing that you don't block your thoughts, but it's only observe your right. That's
even I was going to say that you need not block it. Is whatever you are passionate about it. If you are doing it, it is a meditation.
Yeah.
It may be work that you are passionate.
Very
Then
beautiful.
also you are meditating.
Very beautiful. Okay, so
this discussion is meditation. It's an inquiry into meditation.
Exactly.
It's a meditation.
So if I have to give you my version, which is I'm not saying the version, I'm just giving my version, I would again ask you a question. Right? As if you look at your name, at every moment you're a different person. Agree with me? Yes. In every room you're a different person. In every front of another person you're another person. Which means you're constantly changing. Yes. So which one is the you?
Why different person?
each
one.
So with
Why
me
different?
you
The one
would
who
say
witnesses
hi
all of
and
it.
another person would say hello.
It depends.
There is a little difference between who you are at one point to who you are at another point.
See, each one is myself only.
Each one is yourself. And I think we just did another context the other, existing one exercise we did in a session before, but I would still, because I think a lot of you are new people, if you could just put your hand out, okay, and quickly bring it together. Okay. There'll be, for some people, a left finger, the left thumb on the right, and for some it will be the right over the left. Yes? Which one is right and which one is wrong?
Both are right.
Both are right. Okay. Now just try to put it the other way around. If you had a left on top of the right, put the right on top of the left. Yeah? Which one feels comfortable? Which is what you were. Now, most of us, we had that natural, which is, the me, which is constantly evolving as well, but still it's not really quantified, it's not like really tangible in front of us, but it's there. But as a, growing up phase, or the kind of, civilization that we live in, it really doesn't support us to be really that all the time. Which means unknowingly we have been into the other zone where we might not know we might be doing this more, where you're trying to put the other one because everybody's putting up that way, right? In that phase, a lot of times we lose touch with the us part of us, right? And what is our tool to get to access that? If you just try, what you did, you put the other one which didn't come naturally, and you keep your hand like that for some time, the moment you just release it, it goes back to its normal, right? Very often we don't get a chance to do it because we have so much got used to the other way around that it's at times tough for us to even go back to that, right? According to me, meditation is a tool for us to get really closer to really who we are. And it's like, have you seen the onions? Yes? Can you look at the onion on the top and actually say, this is onion?
Yeah, exactly.
Can you actually say that just by looking on the top? You have to actually go deeper. You have to peel one after another, one after another, one after
अंदर
another.
कुछ नहीं मिलता आखिर में जाके।
लेकिन जो आप अंदर actual onion होता है वो तो अंदर है ना?
कौन सा सभी actual है? All of it is actual. बाहर भी actual है, अंदर तक
सब कुछ है,
जाके nothing.
लेकिन
That's
हर
also the
layer अलग
actuality
है,
of it.
हर layer अलग है, right? Every layer is different, which means
हर
to
layer
go to the
onion है.
next layer, you have to cross the first layer. You have to remove the first
No,
layer
but
to be able
if you're
to
looking
discover.
for something in the center, then you're wasting time.
Yeah. How
If
could
you're not
discovery-
looking for anything, then it's okay.
So good. I mean, that's also good. If you're not looking for something,
Then it's okay. Then it's the process. Then it's a
you're-
fun process.
If you're not looking for something, in terms of saying, अंदर ये मिलेगा, that's a challenge. अंदर क्या मिलेगा, it's a fun. Right? So I'm talking about the discovery phase.
The discovery.
Can we feel one at a time and go in? So for me, I think as an experience, meditation is a tool where you're able to reconnect. Because if you agree with me, I know how many of you do, it's the same brain which tells us ये चाहिए. And after a few years or few days, it's the same brain which tells us कि क्यों नहीं हो सकता. Happens? How many of us ever thought of, January and New Year resolutions, I want to do this, I want to create this and all of that, and after 1, 2, your brain is working not at the working pace, at a really high pace, because earlier we have something called flight and fight mode. Have you heard of that? Fight and flight mode constantly is looking in the environment, working harder to see, are you safe? Do you need to, what reaction you need to take? When you're awake, your brain is still okay because you're able to see and send input saying, ye ho raha hai. When you're sleeping, it's on the higher mode because the inputs are not coming and it's over agile. That is why if you're sleeping sometimes at night and somebody wakes you up, halke se bhi, you get up like, and you sometimes have headache and all of that in your head, right? Which means it's not resting. It's been constantly working. How do you actually rest it? Meditation is a very, very simple tool which has got nothing to do with all the complicated stuff that you might hear. It's just about really connecting with something which really puts you into that deep state of relaxation. When I'm saying relaxation, what you just experience with your finger, just being yourself is relaxation. Yes or no?
Yes.
You had the other finger up and you weren't relaxed. You were like, kab jayega return. But the moment you put your hands normal, you were relaxed. So meditation, according to me, is that tool, the access for you to access your genius. When I say normal, your normal self, we're a genius self. If you look at a child, how many of us mothers here? It's a miracle that not just we are there, our children are there, and we've seen their journey. The most difficult for any species, and that's why we are one of the only species who's got our whole system, like if we go into spirituality, the chakras, the whole thing in a straight line. The spine, which is the source of it, like whole thing standing. But when you're born with this, like, elastic kind of a thing. From there to becoming this way is a transition. And that's like a miracle for creation. And we have achieved this. So we have been geniuses. We didn't know whether we can even wake up and sit. And we actually started walking. Falling down, hitting, nothing mattered. We are a genius self. Somewhere we have not been in touch with that, which we access when we have moments like this, when we fall down. And we fall down and then we figure out, और क्या है? कुछ तो है मेरे बारे में, that the real self of you is like, enough of doing this, get back to your real self, and that has enough energy to push us back. Now how will it be? We don't have to wait for those moments to happen where it pushes us to the crisis of saying, get up and wake up. How will it be if you can do that every single day? If you could just go into that state where you are not just, every time that you go, not just are you accessing, you are improving it, you're giving it more power to take on everything else that you're doing. And I think there's a lot of myth around meditation and the timing. You can even meditate for 1 minute. Is that too much out of 24 hours for yourself? So, we do a lot of, whenever we think of growth and a lot of thinking, we do it all in the brain. Agree with me? All the thinking that happens in the brain. And that's not the complete place. There is one place deeper, which is not to be accessed just by thinking. Because the thinking is also based on whatever you process. When you're thinking, also process only is happening. You're not really accessing the self, the inner one. So meditation is a channel, it's a tool for us to go access that, let it unleash. I mean, it's a trend. If you look at anybody who's really been through those tough times, where you think sab kuch aata hai, sab kuch kar lenge, everything going fine, and then you crash down, you end up really finding your stronger self, your deeper self, which can do anything. Like she did, right? I mean, she did paralysis, she did after losing the whole thing, and you come back and like, I have the whole control of my life. That's the strongest self of you. There are people, entrepreneurs, Steve Jobs, everything went crashing, and then you bounce back like the phoenix, and you create the whole world legendary thing. And if you really look back, it will be they would have accessed their genius self, which is invariably, whether you sit down and do it or whichever way, you would have accessed meditation in some or the other way. That moment where you really went within and you asked yourself, what else do I do? How do I go deeper? You connected with your real self. That was meditation. It can be done even in 1 minute. Very, very simple thing that I really want to leave you with is, when you look at the way the body works, right? We constantly look at what's visible, right? There is so much more which is happening because of what's not visible. How do you actually work with that? How do you work with that? So on my business front, we work with people who are aspiring for Olympics. We work with people who are aspiring to build big empires. We work with top class organizations who are already world leader. I'm talking of 3.5 centuries they've been in business. So organizations like that. And one thing that we've seen is the people at the helm of it, people really doing it. Just the knowledge or just the action is not sufficient. If you want to be on the regular zone, it is fine. You need the extra edge, then you need to find it inside. And most of the people who have ever done that have actually found it inside. If you go and look at their biographies, it will be there. This will be a tool. And according to us, from the science perspective, it is completely scientific, because if you take your EEG, have you heard of EEG? Yes. Which is the monitoring when you actually put the way your brain works, functions. It's a sine curve. It's like fast moving, right? The same way if you take your ECG, you've heard of that, of course, right? It's all kach, 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 kach. It represents nothing but the electrical pulses in your brain, in the way your heart functions, the way blood is pumped up, everything. When you're meditating, not just this, there's another factor called magnetic field. Anybody heard of that? Have you heard of something called law of attraction? Yeah. So I'm just kind of bring it together, okay? So law of attraction says what you focus on and what you're attracting is coming to you. In scientific terms, we are a magnet. We are a magnet. And magnet, I'm not just saying theoretically that you're attracting thinking. The way you think, if you're completely centered, you're in the silence, you're in the your genius self, you are a magnet, because we are constantly, if you look at your body, the way it functions, we work in a circular system. The way universe functions, we work in a circular system. हम बोलते हैं शून्य. Shunya is nothing but circular system. Your blood goes through the arteries and comes out in the veins. It's circulation. Inhalation, exhalation, circulation. If you go into physics, if there's anybody who's into physics, you will find out that any time something which generates electric pulse, current or movement, friction, and it rotates, it will by default generate a magnetic field in perpendicular. We are constantly, whether you like it or not, generating a magnetic field around us. Meditation is a tool which gives you the access to say what magnetic field am I going to generate. Because whether you like it or not, it is going to generate, it is going to catch whatever your magnetic field is about. When you're into meditation, which is even 2 minutes, 1 minute, you get access to your genius self. You are able to design that and say, that's what I want to bring into my environment. Right? So it is a very much scientific tool, mathematically, physically. I mean, if anybody is interested, I can show you all of that. You bring any science of it or any theory, management theory, meditation is applicable in every aspect of it. Only that we, India, is the source of it. We are the source of it, and it's sometimes very, very, disheartening to see today we don't have experts in it. It is all abroad. People now today, NASA has the whole, program that they have on personal excellence. The very first thing is to come and study Vedic system. Specifically, they start with meditation. To just give you a small experiential, and how many of you would like to experience instant form of meditation? Instant? Instant? Okay. Just immediately, okay. So one of the things that always keeps us in the action mode, which keeps spiking our, energy levels up and down and our thought process up and down, is that our brain is constantly a processor. It is no different than a computer. It's a processor. Okay, if your hands are feeling something, your eyes are seeing something, there's something happening, some sound behind me, my brain is busy. All I need is my brain to be free, to be able to pull from inside. Right? If I need to do that, one of the fastest ways is to actually shut down the sensory system. How do you do that?
Shut your eyes.
Exactly. So what she just did right now, very, very simple. The fastest shutdown sensory system that you can do is to actually close your ears, because without realizing today, if you go, statistics also says the highest vulnerable, input in the environment which is really affecting you in every way is sound, without you knowing, and sound which you don't even hear. Right now, between her phone and her phone, there is a sound happening which we're not aware of, but it's affecting. But the moment you kind of bring down the things which are as much possible, you are putting the processor to sleep. When it's in sleep mode, it has higher chances to get back. If you can instantly experience that, this is one technique. You can just close your ears. You will have a slight cap kind of a thing in the front. Have you experienced that? If you touch your ear, the way it is made, okay, there's a little small thing in the front. I'm just going to finish up. So, little small thing in the front which can actually either close, or you can actually take your thumb points and close it. Either of it, okay. While you do this, if you can, many of us think eyes closed means eyes are not working. How many of us think that? Eyes closed means eyes are not working. You close your eyes, okay, and you switch on the light. Your eyes feel it. You close your eyes and you switch on the light, your eyes feel it. You change the color, your eyes feel it. Our eyes are not about the lid. They are high processor. Okay, so when I'm saying sensing, close it down, you actually is to close it down. Close this and close this for just exactly even 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, whichever is possible. Just try that. Close your eyes and close your ears. Close your eyes and close your ears at the same time. Can you open? How many of you still feel a little peace? Little bit? Even 1 minute of this is a big gift to yourself, because there is so much happening inside of us which we are just not able to see, and there's nobody to help it, imagine. And it's at the 40s. I'm thankful I'm not even close to that, quite young, but it's at the 40s. We work a lot with the Elders Foundation. We see 40s, 50s, 60s, you know, जितना हमने उसको neglect करा है, उतना वो हमको neglect करता है. You know, it's like, you don't know how to take care of me, let me show you my worth. It bounces back, right? It's just this even 1 minute that you can try. There are many easy things like that. Another very, very simple, easy thing is to, you would have heard a lot, is to focus on your breathing, because it's a circular system. Many of us, this is, I've tried in all my workshops, many of us are wrongly breathing. The moment you focus on your breathing automatically comes into regulation, because you're not giving your attention to breathing. Imagine, for which we are living. Anybody can hold it for more than 2 minutes, 3 minutes. It's that critical, but we don't give it attention. So it's very critical that even you spend 30 seconds, 1 minute trying to understand. You can just do this, keep your finger under your nose, and you will realize, if you just keep it immediately, it will be just through one nostril. Yeah. Whereas it's supposed to be a circulation. एक ही से आएगा, एक ही से जाएगा. But the moment you focus on it, it will start shifting. And if it's not moving, you actually do the, I'm sure most of us know, breathe, hold, breathe, hold. Just try it for 2 cycles and leave it, it will go natural. If you're doing the normal way, which is you put your finger forward and you realize just single one is happening, which means only part of your brain or part of your system is getting fed. Which is no point in having a big, food on the plate and having no energy inside. Food doesn't sustain us. If food was making us live, we could have fed food to the dead and they would be alive. It's not that. There's more. Meditation is a tool to connect with that more. It's very, very simple. Very, very simple stuff. Very, very useful stuff. To just give you my example quickly, I'm just finishing off. I used to be a chronic asthmatic. Even nebulizers didn't work for me. Today I have no sign of that. In the last 15 years, I've not been to a doctor. I don't have medicines at home. There's a lot more that we do, but it's beautiful.
That I vouch for.
Yes.
Even I cured my asthma with pranayama and meditation.
Yes.
I haven't taken any medication for 12 years.
And we'll hear such stories. So, only thing is, I think this is so much in our culture, we need to bring it in every home, and really put it out. Just like, I think you can skip brushing, but you need to bring this on as an everyday thing. Just
brushing also.
at least one. I mean, that level of importance is what I meant, that even if you skip that, it's okay.
Actually, the breath is a very precious thing. It's the bridge between our physical body and our ethereal body.
Yes.
So if we become aware of it.
Yes, so there are many more tools like that. I hope everybody here is going to take on meditation like it's really the thing for us every day. And even 1 minute you give is very good. The more you give is great. Okay, and like I was sharing about my mother, it is one disease which is incurable. And I think you met her yesterday. She's perfectly fine. Not just her. It's called a hereditary disease. So I was told you can have it and all of that. I'm perfectly fine. I can work with it, deal with it. So it's very beautiful. I really request everyone, please take it on into your homes, especially in your own lives. There's so much that you can really build with that. Thank you so much for your such amazing time.
Think about it, that who am I, or I ask people who are you, they tell their name, they tell their profession, as she said that she's a woman, We identify ourselves with our gender, with our profession, with our name, etc., etc., etc. But just think. I say, this is my hand, this is my leg, this is my body. Then who am I? If this body is mine, this leg is mine, this hand is mine, who am I? Anyone who can answer this question? I am the energy who is running this body. I am that energy. And what we call that energy? We call it soul. I am the soul, that energy, that eternal power who is running this body. You know what is happening today, nowadays? We used to call it human being, but nowadays we call it human. We are missing that being. Human, it comes from Latin word humus, that means soil. Human means soil. Are we soil? Where is that being missing? That is the root cause of meditation. You know, it all start from here. Just think about this hotel. किसी ने तो सोचा होगा ना ये बनाना है. Think about metro. Think about this city. First, thinking, then action. What we think, so we become. So what we have to do to change ourselves, to check within? We have to do meditation. And what is meditation? Transforming thoughts. From negative to positive. From waste to purposeful. There are 4 types of thoughts. Positive, negative, waste and purposeful. You know how I define meditation? This is meditation. Me, T, tation. Me, myself. The, da. We call it na? Da Taj Mahal, which is very unique. Da, the me. And tation means inspiration from people and environment where we are. This is called meditation. We are feeding ourselves, we are feeding our stomach. Whenever we feel hungry, we eat. But what we do when we feel stressed? Do we feed our mind? We do not. Like food is, when we feel hungry, we eat. Now. And the other way is, I will be angry. But I will be peaceful. Even when I'm speaking, there is a difference in my words. So see, because I'm creating a thought in my mind first. Creating a positive thought in itself is a meditation. Before, I was born abnormal child. Abnormal in the sense, not like when I was 6 years old, I did tapasya and I was searching God. I have seen on TV that okay, if we do tapasya, we can find God. So there was no one at home. I switched off all the lights and I sat down and started doing like oh, and my mom came and she said, what the hell are you doing? If you do this, the ghost will come and take you away. But seriously, I was finding God.
Have you found?
Yes. I was searching for life. I was not good in studies because I always had questions in mind. Who am I? What's the purpose of this life? Why am I here on this earth? Lot of questions. And thankfully I got all the answers. Today I have a beautiful purpose and that I'm serving. So this is also meditation. Why to sit and give some time? In this busy schedule we cannot give time. So if we start transforming our thoughts, it is a meditation. There is a story in Hindi. जब हम बाल्टी को नल के नीचे लगाएंगे, सपोज एक बाल्टी है, उसमें ना बहुत सारा कीचड़ है, हमारे पास ऑप्शन है कि हम उस कीचड़ को ना फेंक नहीं सकते हम उस कीचड़ को, पर हमें वो कीचड़ साफ करना है, तो हमें क्या करना चाहिए? हमें उस नलके को खोल देना चाहिए। जिससे क्या होगा, एक टाइम ऐसा आएगा, धीरे धीरे करके वो सारा कीचड़ बाहर निकल जाएगा और उसमें साफ पानी होगा। सेम इज विद आवर थॉट प्रोसेस। इतनी गंदगी भर चुकी है हमारे दिमाग में, हम उसे फेंक नहीं सकते, पर हम उसे पॉजिटिव थॉट्स के थ्रू साफ कर सकते हैं। So I just want all of us to experience for 2 minutes that how to do this. Can we do this?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much.
Can we play the music, please? Please close your eyes. Sit straight. Take a deep breath. Breathe in. Breathe out. See yourself as the energy, the art who is running this body. See the transformation of energy in your body from negative to positive. Visualize it. Feel it. Get all the troubles of your life in front of yourself. Get all the negative thoughts in front of you. Let them go. Don't stop them. Let them go. Let them flow. And see, feel a positive energy is taking place in yourself. The soul is very peaceful, very cool and calm. I'm thankful to this universe for giving me whatever I have. I am coming out of this body consciousness. I'm staying away from all the materialistic things and feeling connected to the nature.
to myself that real me. So I can see that energy, that light, that myself, which is very peaceful, pure, loveful, blissful. Now the energy has started flowing from me to this world. The world is becoming peaceful. We all are living very peacefully and happily. I am feeling abundant and thankful. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So this was just. We can do even a full day session on this, but here it is not possible. So I don't have a big vision to conduct sessions in corporates and big organizations. My purpose is to go to slave areas and to people those who really need it. It's a passion. Even if I don't get money for it, it doesn't matter for me. So the purpose is to create a positive difference in my life and everyone's life and to be the citizen of this world. Thank you so much.
All the best.
How old are you? 24.
Oh my God. Very nice.
That's why I just asked her age.
Even people feel that I am 21. तो अभी मैंने थोड़ा ज़्यादा बताना शुरू किया है. यकीन नहीं होता लोगों को.
I'm really amazed for you for really sitting on. Generally, I think these topics people have been, I don't know, it's the base of it, and this is why, as I told you, I have no idea about meditation. I have never done meditation. I have heard about. My journey started from Anita's session. Anu session.
देख हाथ तो मेरी तरफ दिखा रही है नाम.
Anu का.
Yeah.
ANT था उसके बाद. Actually, so many names I'm hearing.
I'm teasing you, know what?
So I started with that. Meditation. Calcutta में very few people are there. Calcutta is the source of a lot of meditation. That's very surprising because I am not very much connected with those sources. Probably. So
See, I'll tell you one thing. What happens is people who are creative, which you are. It's like जो बीमार होता है ना, दवाई की जरूरत उसको पड़ती है. तो जो लोग क्रिएटिव होते हैं, क्योंकि उनके ऊपर के चक्रा वेकेंट होते हैं, वो ऑटोमेटिकली एक हायर लेवल से ऑपरेट कर रहे होते हैं. They may not need to consciously go and look for meditation at some point of time. But end of the day, if you are meant to discover the purpose of life, and if there is a preparation that has happened within, then the resources, the opportunities, and the people will automatically gravitate in your direction.
Because from my childhood,
it is not.
I was very, मतलब बचपन से कुछ होता था अंदर में ना, सब कुछ
मेरे अंदर अभी भी बहुत कुछ हो रहा है.
And my
दुनिया में अच्छी नहीं लगती थी चीजें मेरे को.
and my purpose of putting over here is
All meditation does not have to be life negating. Life affirming is also good. दुनिया अच्छी नहीं लगना is one way. दुनिया बहुत अच्छी लगना is also another way.
अभी बहुत अच्छी लगती है.
दीदी मैं तो हर जगह दोस्ती करती रहती थी लोगों से.
That's what my purpose of sitting over here is the fact that my brain doesn't stop. I try to do a lot of
Thank you.